Thank you so much for consenting to meet with me, Drew. Please tell us your full name, a little bit about where you grew up and your family of origin.
My full name is Drew Marshall Stevens, and it is my pleasure to speak with you today, Bruce. Um, I was born in Utah. Lived there for just a short period of time, and then we moved to California when I was 6 years old. I lived in California, Southern California, for a few years, but the balance of my life lived in Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area. In 1999, I moved with my wife and two children at the time to the Las Vegas Valley, and we have been here since '99.
Tell us about your family of origin, brothers, sisters.
I have I'm the youngest of three children. I have an older brother, but his name is Blair. He lives in the Chicago area. I have a sister named Lori, who's also just a year and a half older than me, and she lives in Orange County, California.
Great. Um, were you raised in any religion, and if so, which one?
Yes, I was raised a Lutheran. We are a Christian family. We are still a Christian family, and we attend a church here in town in Las Vegas, or actually in Henderson, called Green Valley Baptist Church.
Green Valley Baptist. And you live in Henderson.
Yeah, we live in Henderson.
And your business that where we are today is in Henderson
We're
as
in
well.
Henderson.
Great. Where'd you go to college?
Well, I I went to high school in the Bay Area and then
What
graduated
city?
in Newark, California. I went to Newark High School, and then I went straight away to Chico State University up in Northern California, Chico, California, and I spent 3.5 years there, and then I spent one semester, my junior year in college, I spent at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
That's a year abroad. No,
Yeah,
I just.
absolutely. Yeah, it sure was. Felt like it.
And then you came back. And what's your degree in?
I graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics.
Economics. That means you're pretty smart.
Not hardly. I think it was the quickest way out of college for me originally.
Because I'm pretty decent at math, but I'm a business management major, and probably the hardest classes were statistics and economics.
Clearly, the hardest class for me was statistics, no question. For some reason, economics seemed a little easier for me.
How did you meet Barbara?
Um, After I graduated from college, I moved back to the Bay Area. I worked for a couple different companies in the Bay Area and the Silicon Valley there, and I met Barbara. She lived in the same condominium complex that I was living in at the time, and met her in 1989. Our first date was a San Francisco Giants baseball game, followed by dinner in San Francisco, and the rest is history.
How did you decide to go into the glove business?
I worked for a company in the Silicon Valley, and just one of the many products that we sold were gloves. It was a company that catered primarily to the semiconductor industry, and so we sold everything from what you wear on your head to what you wear on your body and hands and feet in a clean room environment. So companies like Intel and Advanced Micro Devices and all of these companies have clean rooms, and so I sold supplies for the clean rooms, and the company that I worked for, that is what we focused on. And so I worked there about 3 years, and the owner of the company sold the company, and sold the company to a much larger organization. And it was about that time, that transition, that I wanted to start my own business anyway. And so rather than starting a clean room business, I really just chose to focus on one product at that time, and that was gloves. I started buying gloves from other importers in the San Francisco Bay Area. Just filled up my car and went around and sold them to primarily automotive dealerships, because at about that time, maybe 15, 16 years ago, car dealers and everybody who works on cars, mechanics, started wearing gloves. And fortunately for me, the timing was great, because at that time, rather than the mechanics buying the gloves themselves, the dealerships started to buy them. That was mandated by OSHA that they had to protect their employees, so they had to offer them hand protection. And so that's really how my business got started. I filled up my car, went door to door. I quit my job, went door to door, and sold latex and nitrile and vinyl gloves to automotive dealerships up in the San Francisco Bay Area.
How many employees do you have today?
We have 18 employees. That includes myself and my partner.
Please tell us what the mission of the Josh Stevens Foundation is.
I would love to. Clearly I have a business here. I've got employees that I feel responsible for. But since the loss of my son, my focus has clearly been on on building this foundation and spreading Josh's legacy. And so the belief of the Josh Stevens Foundation is that genuine kindness born in the heart of a child deserves celebration. And it is our mission to recognize and reward the heartfelt kind acts of children. Our ultimate vision, Bruce, is to inspire more children to be more kind more often.
Please tell us about kindness cards.
Well, obviously, the probably the most critical part of the foundation is how we recognize children for their acts of genuine kindness. My wife and my wife primarily early on, we as a family knew Josh well. We knew how kind his heart was, and shortly after we lost him, my wife and I, some of the discussions that we had were primarily about us not being able to see Josh's daily kind acts, and how that was going to impact us and affect us. And so what my wife did was she said, we need to have something that we carry on us, that if we carry on our person, that when we see a child do something kind, genuinely kind, not because they were asked to or told to or that they even thought they'd get something in return, but when we saw them do something that reminded us of something Josh would do, we wanted to give them something. We wanted to recognize that their act of kindness was seen by somebody and appreciated. Because when Josh would do these things, I mean, he would come over and tell us, hey, somebody just said I made their day. It was really important to Josh that somebody would recognize that a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or 12-year-old boy could impact an adult's day, and to the point of them saying, hey, you just made my day. So my wife created this card. It's called the You've Been Caught Being Kind card. And it says on it, obviously, you've been caught being kind. It has a silicone bracelet that says be kind, and on the back says it's the new cool. And on the card is a poem that speaks to the significance of this act of kindness. On the back is our belief in our mission, which I shared with you, as well as Josh's inspirational story behind the beginning or the genesis of the Josh Stevens Foundation.
What do you do with money that sponsors donate to your organization?
Yeah, one of the unique things about the Josh Stevens Foundation is that we have yet to, and we haven't gone out and solicited donations. We have, fortunately for us, we have what I call a financial engine behind the Josh Stevens Foundation, and that is Be Kind Apparel, Be Kind shirts. To date, we've printed more than 75,000 Be Kind shirts. There's a demand has been created for Be Kind shirts in the Las Vegas Valley and now beyond. And so we haven't really had to go out and solicit people for donations. Don't get me wrong, generous, supportive folks send us donations, and we are grateful for them. But what we do with those funds, every bit of the money that is generated by the Josh Stevens Foundation is used to help implement this program into schools that don't necessarily have a school population where a kid can come spend $10 on a Be Kind shirt. So for schools who embrace the foundation and pay the amount of money that is required to implement the foundation.
How much is that?
Well, for a typical elementary school in the Las Vegas Valley, what it is it's $1,500. And this is what they get for $1,500. We as a foundation outfit the entire staff, everybody from the custodian to the teachers, counselors, administration, everybody. We outfit the entire staff, long-term subs, office personnel, everybody with a Be Kind shirt. And obviously their Be Kind shirts, all Be Kind shirts say Be Kind on the front. The little ellipses, the little ... says Kind Like Josh within those ellipses. And on the back is a unique slogan that any school can choose to tie in the back slogan to their school. We have schools like Legacy High School. It says Be Kind on the back. It says Leave a Legacy. We have schools that have a giraffe for a mascot, and they've chosen to do really unique, fun things like Be Kind on the back. It says Stretch Yourself.
Like the school that we were at yesterday that had their motto was Plant a Seed because they have an agricultural program there.
That's exactly right. So their school said, their shirt says Be Kind, Plant a Seed on the back with the logo of the Josh Stevens Foundation as well as the logo of that elementary school. And that's really what we do with the funds. So we'll get $1,500. We give a shirt to every single staff member, and then we provide 150 shirts and ask the school to sell them to the students and parents for $10 a shirt. When they collect $10 a shirt times 150 shirts, their $1,500 is paid back. That, in other words, the foundation doesn't really cost anything if they're able to sell those 150 shirts for $10 a shirt.
If they can't, then whatever they can't sell, they can give away to.
Yes, and
on a need basis.
Right, and many schools are doing that. So, in addition to that, we give them a typical elementary school will get 305 kindness cards.
Tell us about the 5.
Well, the 5 it used to be 300, and then we decided we wanted to tie everything into the 5th, into the number 5, because Josh was born on October 5th. Josh passed on September 5th, and so the number 5 is significant to our family, and so we just wanted to have everything end in 5, start with 5, whatever. So schools get 305 kindness cards to distribute as they see fit. In other words, we call them the Kindness Patrol, and they are the ones who go out and recognize children for their acts of genuine kindness. And then in addition to that, we have a curriculum guide that is really essentially just a CD of PDFs and Word documents of lots and lots of ideas, hosting a kindness week at your school, having a poster contest, lots of ideas that have been shared by hundreds now of people in Clark County to help add content and keep this kindness movement thriving on the campus for the entire school year.
What gave you the idea to ask the teachers of each school to help you develop curriculum for your program?
Well, I'm going to, like I've done all day, just answer very honestly and tell you that we have had the benefit of meeting and dealing with some of the most compassionate and empathetic people you could ever imagine. And so early on with the schools who were starting to embrace our message of being kind and the Be Kind shirts and the kindness cards, that some of these, what I call champions of the foundation, came forward and said, can we help in adding even more value to what the foundation is doing? And we said, absolutely. I mean, what do you have in mind? And they said, well, there were 2 women in particular. One of them's name is Kristen Barnson. She's a school counselor at a school called Dean Allen Elementary up in the north part of town. And there's another gal by the name of Lauren Friedman. She also was a counselor at a school called K. Carl. And they too got together on their own, unbeknownst to me. They got together and just brainstormed ideas as to how they could implement this Be Kind movement and keep it thriving on campus. And between the 2 of them, they implemented dozens of ideas in the first year that they had implemented the foundation. And then they said, hey, can we share those with you so we want others to not have to recreate the wheel. And so they shared them with us. We made them available in a CD form and started to distribute them to schools, other elementary schools. And then that's where it snowballed from there. So now we have teachers and counselors and administrators that are helping us develop curriculum to keep this kindness movement fresh and always changing. Because one of the things is when a school implements the program for the first year, it's new, it's fun, it's exciting. But one of the most critical things that we're working on is the sustainability of this program. So we say it's not just fashionable to be kind for 1 year, but kindness is something that we can all endorse, and it is something that needs to be reiterated with children over and over and over again. So